If you want the Chiefs to win this AFC Championship game on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, then you need to go down in the comments and spam KC because we need the good vibes and we need it rolling. We need every single positive thing going for Kansas City, especially with the injury news I'm about to tell you about. So type KC in the comment section, get that thing flooded with KCs, and let's get rolling here on the Chiefs Report. We know your time is precious, and we appreciate you taking some time to spend it with us. I'm your host, Jay Sanders, and today we're going to talk about Chiefs injury news as their first day of practice of the new week started today, which means we got to see who was at practice and who landed themselves on injury reports and who did not practice. So we're going to talk about all that right now. Let's start with the guys who did not practice and kind of go through them one by one as Andy Reid announced that Skyy Moore, Mike Edwards, Trey Smith, Isiah Pacheco, and Joe Thuney were not going to practice, all with different injuries, as you can see listed right there. So we're going to talk about all these real quick, with the first and probably most important one being Joe Thuney, because not only did we get the report that he is not going to practice today, but we even got a little more. You see, Thuney had been injured for a little bit. He had an MRI as a pec strain was diagnosed, and unfortunately we got this report from Adam Schefter just after the Andy Reid press conference saying, Chiefs Pro Bowl guard Joe Thuney will not practice today due to his pec injury, and in the words of one source, is unlikely to play Sunday versus the Ravens, but as another source also said, he's going to work like crazy to play. This stinks because Joe Thuney is the number 10 ranked PFF guard in the entire NFL out of 78 guards. This guy has played absolutely exceptional and has been a key piece to this Chiefs offensive line that has been really one of the best offensive lines in football, protecting Patrick Mahomes, keeping himself and allowing him time to get the ball downfield. Now with Thuney, though, it stinks because he has played a lot of snaps. He has allowed few sacks. His PFF grade is high and his pass blocking rate is even higher. Thuney, I think, is one big piece of this line that has almost been a glue piece. And now without him, you kind of have to start to think, okay, how exactly are you going to play this out? And what is the best case of action for this? Now, we know he is going to fight like crazy to play, but no Thuney would really, really hurt this Sunday because I love Nick Allegretti, and I think he can do a good job. But ultimately, Thuney has been one of those guys where it's almost an experience type. You have Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Joe Thuney all right in the middle of that line. You're going to be in a good spot if you have those guys, no matter who is on the right or left tackle. Obviously, you have Juwan Taylor, you have Donovan Smith, who have both been playing pretty well, besides the penalties for Juwan. I'm not going to sit here and say that. The bigger reason, though, why this may be a problem is because the Ravens are the number one team in the NFL when it comes to sacks. They have sacked the quarterback 60 times, and guess what? The Chiefs are right behind them at 57. But still, the fact that you have the number one sack defense sitting in front of you and you're not going to get your starting guard in there, it doesn't exactly feel the greatest. Now, the next man up mentality has to go to Nick Allegretti. On the Chiefs depth chart, he is listed as the backup center and backup right guard. The only thing is, they are probably going to just make him the backup for Thuney because he has the one with the most experience. If you remember, Allegretti actually started in the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple years back. So now Allegretti steps back into a starting role for possibly this game. The good news is Thuney, if the Chiefs are able to win this Sunday, should be good to go for the Super Bowl game. But right now, it's looking very unlikely we will see him in this Sunday's AFC Championship game, which is a huge, huge blow and really stinks. So it's honestly a tough thing to think about. But here's the positive news. Allegretti has experience, and the rest of the offensive line is going to be right there to keep and protect Patrick Mahomes. And you can kind of predict that the Ravens, they're going to run some blitz packages, which is going to open up the passing game and possibly the running game a lot. Let's go to the second most important injury out of those five, and that is Mike Edwards, who has a concussion. Now, we saw the play. Edwards kind of ran into the head of Stephon Diggs, taken out in the first quarter, which I'm not going to say is good. It's obviously not. But it allowed us to see his backup in full force last week, and that was Chamarri Conner, the rookie out of Virginia Tech, who has been playing exceptional over the last 2 weeks when called upon. In fact, he is the number 3 guy in terms of tackles in the postseason for the Chiefs. It's going to be Nick Bolton, Justin Reid, then Chamarri Conner when it comes to tackles. And he had 10 against the Buffalo Bills, which was also third behind Nick Bolton and Justin Reid. He played great, though. He was all around the football. And if you remember talking about this in the preseason, Chamarri really was a standout guy. He was one of those guys where you kind of look at this and see, okay, I know he's going to go out there and play well, but how fastly can we adjust him to the NFL caliber of play? Because that was the biggest thing. In preseason, it's not what you see there that's going to translate to regular season. We've been able to slowly see that grow in him, and he played great against the Chargers in Week 18, and now has played great in back-to-back playoff games, including when he was named basically the starter after Mike Edwards got taken out in the first quarter. If you like what you've seen from Chamarri Conner, you appreciate the rook, then get down there and type the C for Chamarri Conner, double C's in his name. We're typing C's in the comments, so go down there, type the C if you like what you've seen from the rook, because I'm telling you, this kid is going to be something great with the Chiefs for the next couple years, and I cannot wait. Get down in the comments and type those C's. You can also do something else in the comments. Go check down there. You're going to have a link for 50% off Factor Meals, one of our amazing sponsors. Now, you can get started on your resolutions with Factor so that you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, the prep work, and cooking fatigue, and instead get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolution. Need a special occasion meal? Don't worry, Gourmet Plus is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, upscale options done easy. Forget frantic lunch preps and rush dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered right to your door. Now that 50% off, how do you get it? Well, here's what you do. Head to factormeals.com/ChiefsChat50 and use the code ChiefsChat50 to get 50% off. That's code ChiefsChat50 at factormeals.com/ChiefsChat50 to get 50% off. Scroll down. It'll be in the comments and the description of this video if you'd like to go check them out. factormeals.com/ChiefsChat50. The third injury, and one of the most important ones as well in terms of players, is Isiah Pacheco. Now, why this is on the third part of this? Because he has a pretty good shot to play. In fact, he said it himself. Isiah Pacheco won't practice today, but he said when asked if he would play Sunday, absolutely. That's a good sign. Now, you need Pacheco out there because in the postseason, he's been great. Almost 200 yards, almost 40 carries, 4.8 average, and a touchdown in each game. Against a Ravens team that has a multitude of weapons on the defensive front, the linebackers, the secondary, wherever it is, they have guys that can take you down. You need Pacheco 100%. You want Pacheco 100% because he's going to have a big role in this game in a lot of different ways. I think the first way is to try and open up the passing game. Let him run a little bit early. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. It opens up the ability to go with quick slants, go with Rashee Rice on a streak, have MVS maybe try different routes. There's a lot of things he can do, and on top of which, Pacheco is going to pop through those freaking holes. And listen, Roquan Smith and a lot of the Ravens guys are talking about how this is going to be a good game and how they're going to try and take down Pacheco. I guarantee Pacheco is hearing a little bit of that noise. He's going to go after every single person on that Ravens defense, and he's going to slam them into the ground as he runs right past them. Now, I'm telling you, hit that sub button right now because we have the injury news for you right here. But when Chiefs news breaks, when something happens, when this Friday, when they announce who is playing and who is not playing in the AFC Championship game, we're going to have a video out as soon as possible. So get down there, subscribe with the little red button. Turn it gray. I'd certainly appreciate it. Or go to youtube.com/ChiefsTV and hit that little red subscribe button. I certainly appreciate it. Plus, we got a lot of Chiefs content coming for you in the next couple of days leading up to the AFC Championship game. Let's go to the fourth part of this injury report, and that is Skyy Moore, the wide receiver. Now, he was on the IR, got opened up in his 21-day practice window last week, but he practiced a couple times last week. So now him not practicing today leads me to believe that he will not play in this Sunday's game. And not to be this guy, but I'm going to say it again. I don't want him back. I know that sounds bad, but this offense, since he has kind of stepped out into a different role, into not playing, the Chiefs' offense has been better. And it's not like I'm like, oh, but his stats are so good, so it wasn't his fault. He was just in a bad time. No, his stats weren't good. 21 receptions, 244 yards, 11.6 on the average, and 1 touchdown. Skyy Moore has done a lot of things for this organization last year, but this year not so much. And even last year, they were good, but never great. Never what we expected them to be when Brett Veach used a high draft pick on him. I don't think it's worth it to try and go and maybe put somebody who could potentially mess up the swagger the offense has right now. The way they've been rolling since the Bengals game has been better than they have been all year long. I don't want to put anybody in that hasn't been there in that time frame that could then mess it up. I would like him to see him on the sidelines. I want to be healthy out of that, but I don't think he needs to see the field. That's just my opinion now. And the last one is probably the least important, but I still want to mention it because of Joe Thuney at the top. Trey Smith, the other guard, is also not practicing today. He is just sick, though. From Andy Reid, they expect him to play, obviously, and he should be back at practice tomorrow. But he's a key piece of this offensive line as well. Obviously, you have Joe Thuney, who is injured and unlikely to play on Sunday. I hope Trey Smith has a quick recovery and can get a couple practices in because he is going to be a huge part with Thuney out. Allegretti slides into that left guard position. And now how exactly do you attack this line? Because you have a lot of guys who have a lot of experience. And guess what? Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, Jawan Donovan, they're all going to help Allegretti and make sure he knows exactly what to do in every single set, every blocking formation, whatever you need. If you want the A gap open, want the B gap open, they're going to talk to Allegretti. They're going to train him up. So for Trey Smith, he should be good to go on Sunday. That's the big news, and that's the news you got to focus on because you can't really afford to lose both guards. That would be detrimental, especially against the Ravens defense that, again, leads the league in sacks. So it shouldn't happen. He should be good to go, but we're going to monitor that, have another video out tomorrow, probably going live tomorrow as well, so make sure you are subscribed for that. But we're going to check him out and keep you updated with everything. Like I said, we got everything right for you here on the Chiefs Report. Now, to remind you, if you want the Chiefs to win on Sunday and you made it to the end of the video, go down there and type KC. And here, I'm going to do this. If you typed it at the beginning of the video and now you're seeing it again, go down there and do it again. Why not? Just spam the KCs for as much as possible because ultimately, guess what? That just means more good luck, more good vibes, and ultimately more chances for the Chiefs to beat down the Ravens this Sunday and head back to the Super Bowl, which is certainly something that I want to see because, man, it's just fun watching Kansas City play. I want to see Patrick Mahomes on a football field for as long as humanly possible. We appreciate you watching. As always, Chiefs Kingdom. Peace out.